Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the Sun square or opposition Jupiter in the natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in the natal chart that were a little bit concise. Some people may have referred to them as snappy. So what I decided to do was make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is, well, if you have the Sun square or opposition Jupiter in a natal chart, there may be difficulty, focusing, which is the Sun, on expanding horizons, which is Jupiter. And if you have your Jupiter, say in Taurus, it could be, just simply monetary matters or generating income. It could be something, specifically as far as a field connected with Taurus, such as geology, or carpet laying, architecture, agriculture, gardening, cultivation, finance, banking, as some examples. And if you have this aspect, one of these two aspects, I should say, Sun square or opposition Jupiter in the natal chart, may also manifest in the conscious side, which is the Sun. And what you have, that exuberance and enthusiasm for, which is Jupiter, may not be in harmony. If you have, if Taurus and Leo are involved, naturally there'd be a strong disparity because you would have, the Taurus energy. It's a little bit about, calmness and relaxing, and it's more stagnant. Leo, wants that excitement. Wants, may have some need for that drama in one's life to keep things more interesting. It's really, you could have, if Jupiter, let's say if Jupiter is in Scorpio, and, the things you may have that exuberance for, could be things connected with locksmithing or psychology, forensics, investigation, deep research, and the occult, even the occult, which includes astrology. But your basic, your conscious side, the basic, fundamental character may not be in harmony with that. Jupiter and Scorpio may be enthusiastic about things that are complex and deep, but at the same time, say it opposes the Sun in Taurus. Taurus is more about, things that are basic, rudimentary more. They like things simple, so you have a conflict there. Now, another thing is that higher education, what you do as far as your higher education is what level you attain, it could have an adverse effect on the ego, and especially say if you're somebody, that has been enrolled in college and you weren't overly successful, it may have a negative effect on, just your ego in general. Say if Jupiter is in Pisces, there may have been some college interests, associated with poetry, dancing, photography, special effects, anesthesiology, as some examples. And the thing is, it doesn't mean, just because someone has this aspect doesn't mean you're not going to do well necessarily in higher education. But if there were, issues, with higher education, and you didn't, someone that has this aspect, say they didn't, reach their plateau or their pinnacle as far as higher education, college pursuits go, it may be more of an inclination to have an adverse or negative effect on one's ego, which is the Sun. Now, another way this aspect may be expressed is that in-laws and foreigners, which is Jupiter, may have there may be more of a propensity for them to have a negative effect on one's life, and it could just simply be where there could be it could cause a conflict in one's life, which is the Sun. If you're, say, if you're trying to do, a lot of things for in-laws and foreigners, and you may not be dedicating or devoting the time to your own life that you think you should have. Say, for example, if the Sun is in Aquarius, that could be a life, where you express a lot of humanitarianism, altruism, selflessness, even innovation. a life, where you're, strongly connected, with friendships and group-related matters. Also, too, those same people, the in-laws and foreigners, may not be compatible with the basic fundamental character, which is the sun. If you have, say if the sun is in Aries, that basic fundamental character can be one that's very outspoken, direct, straightforward, abrupt, aggressive, very assertive. They're even combative at times, and there may be that side is where those people may see and do not, feel really at harmony with that person, in that example. Now, another thing is that another way this aspect, may manifest and pan out is that the biological father and dominant male figures, which is the son, may not be in agreement or, the harmony with, with one's beliefs and philosophies, which is Jupiter. If Jupiter, say, is in Aquarius, it could be, where, the person may have very, unconventional, unusual, unorthodox beliefs and philosophies. If Jupiter is in Capricorn, say, those beliefs and philosophies may be more conventional, more orthodox, basically, as some examples, Jupiter and Aries can have a belief system, a philosophy about being assertive and aggressive, not hesitating on matters, not hesitating or procrastinating, trying to do things like very quickly. And the thing is, another way this aspect may pan out in one's natal chart is that there may be a tendency to be like over exuberant or over optimistic, which is Jupiter, in what one can do, physically. And every person needs to take, having this aspect, it can be where you may need to be a little bit prudent, because there may be some over enthusiasm of what one can do physically, and it could be to one's, detriment, ultimately. Say, if the sun is in Scorpio, maybe where the person physically may be involved with refuge or trash, or doing something with recycling or transformation, and then whatever it is, or even transforming the physical body. And it's just important to be careful just not to over do it. It's good to be positive and optimistic, but not overly optimistic. And it may also be hard, with this aspect, or harder, I should say, to gain prosperity, which is Jupiter, in terms of what drives and motivates you, which is the sun. If the sun, is in Gemini, the things that drive and motivate you can simply be about variety, doing manifold things. It could be short journeys, taking short trips, expressing manual dexterity, which can include, say, for example, auto or refrigeration, mechanics, being able to, disseminate, assimilate information, as some examples. And also, a person needs to guard against making, some kind of distorted, promises that he or she may not be able to follow through on. It may be such where, initially with a person may have the intention of following through on the promises, but you still need to be careful not to overdo it, and make sure what you're going to say is realistic in terms of what you can actually follow through on. And that's important to remember, with this aspect. And another thing is that, one may have a tendency to distort also, in large, exaggerated experiences. Say, if you have Jupiter, or Gemini is involved somehow, say, in this aspect, it could be something related to, a short journey, or something that involved, local transportation, or short trip, or mobility, of some kind, or simply something that somebody may have communicated, or expressed verbally. This is where, there could be some, kind of distortion or enlargement or exaggeration, as an example. Now, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.